This is a passion project. I'm into side hustles and passive income in a big way rather, and this is how I'm doing that right now. So that's my primary intent is more to talk about my experiences and my decisions, and if this is interesting to you, great. So let me open with, this is not financial advice. And,
so they have no sound. Can you make sure that your sound is...
Oh yeah, sorry. I turned my mic off on purpose. Does that fix it, hopefully?
Yes.
All right.
So Caleb, does that, yeah, he says it fixes it. So just to recap, this is John's passion project. We probably won't be doing anything neighbor-wise Ethereum anytime soon, but who knows? I mean, we got a big future in front of us with a lot of success.
Payments V2 accept Ethereum?
Not yet. We did talk about doing a neighbor coin.
There is actually it seems to be now defunct store coin or storage coin, and it's very much we'll do the premise of Neighbor leasing out space and renting it on a short term, but tracked entirely on the blockchain. So.
Oh wow.
I looked that up when I interviewed here and haven't looked at it since. But so ground rules, like I said, this is mostly about my experience, and I have like the weird Midwestern sensibility about money where you generally don't want to talk about it at all. So that's kind of inherent in some of this conversation. So hope everybody's okay with that. And a lot of these are lessons that I have learned the hard way, so please don't make the mistakes that I did. Don't time the market. Don't try to time the market. Commit to at least a year-long holding for this and really any other financial asset. Nobody likes to get rich slow is one of Warren Buffett's most famous quotes, but it's also a lot safer and a lot more guaranteed. So my accountant, I do my own taxes. That's a recent change. My accountant my old accountant hated that I was into this because it made his life harder. And that's probably still the prevailing attitude in a lot of traditional finance. So some of the complaints though that traditional finance throws at crypto are totally legitimate. First is that it is volatile. Second is that the Ethereum 2.0 network, which is scheduled to go live in June, but no guarantees, is the thing that is going to enable anything in Ethereum 2.0 to be sold. So investments right now are uncertain, and you are locking your money up for probably 3 months, but again, who knows? So it's important to understand. And HODL is the thing that is commonly thrown around on the Wall Street Bets kind of parts of the internet. It stands for hold on for dear life, and that was something that always threw me off. So before we get into some of the meatier things, one of the implications of crypto is that it is much like selling stocks, and there are taxable events that happen when you buy, sell, or trade cryptocurrencies, same as traditional assets. So the IRS is clear on mining. As soon as if you are mining cryptocurrency, the moment that you get your mined currency, that's taxable income, which kind of stinks because nobody wants to pay taxes that year, and especially if you look at Reddit cryptocurrency forums, it's a hot topic right now. A lot of people bought and sold arbitrarily on Coinbase throughout the year, not realizing that each sale, even if it was a trade, was a taxable event. So a lot of people potentially owe more taxes than they have money for, which is a rough position to be in. The nice thing about mining, though, is that because you are taxed at the market value on the day you get it, if the value goes down over the year, you can sell it, declare it as a loss on your taxes, which is called a wash sale, and assuming that you made more than you paid for in electricity, it is still a net profitable event for you. So that is the upside. Staking, and we'll talk more about the differences between staking and mining upcoming. Staking is different. Staking is an Ethereum 2.0 paradigm. It's the way of the future. It's much more power efficient. but it is also different from a tax perspective. Although the IRS hasn't made this as nearly as clear as they have with mining, there's a recent court case where it seems like for now they're not going to come after you if you don't declare staked income until you sell it or trade it. Understand long-term versus short-term capital gains. One of the main reasons you should hold on to everything for at least a year is that's what gets you into the long-term capital gains tax bracket, which it's varied, it's progressive. This is another one of my favorite memes. A lot of people are under the misconception that when you go into a higher tax bracket, all of your money is taxed at the higher tax bracket. It's only the first X dollars that are taxed at each higher tax bracket. Let me know if that doesn't make sense, please. That's important to understand. But again, as you can see, there is a world where you potentially pay 0%. You will definitely pay 0% on some of your long-term capital gains taxes, right? Everybody with me so far? Okay.
Right, but the other one, the 10 to 37%, that's income tax, and it depends on what tax bracket you're in.
They're both. These are both. There is a table for this for both short-term, long-term. Yes, but the key with short-term capital gains is it starts at 10, no matter how much your net income is.
So are you saying the investment starts at 10, or it all depends on how much money you made that year, right?
Yes.
Because if you've already gotten into the higher tax brackets, when you sell, it's going to be possibly 37% of the labor.
Yes. If you're, and also as an aside, I never really understood Wesley Snipes level tax fraud until you have to start looking at these in terms of black and white numbers. But suddenly it's a lot more appealing when you could potentially move to Switzerland for 6 months, sell all your cryptocurrency, and come back with a foreign investment account that's undeclared. So don't do that. That's criminal. But the temptation can be real.
That's what Wesley Snipes said. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he had to do the expendables because I think he actually went to jail for a brief period of time for tax fraud. But yes, you're right. This is not just your investment income; it is an aggregate of your net income for the year. So when I first started getting into all things cryptocurrency, it was very much more about the tech being greater than the money. Today, it's definitely the money being greater than the tech. And that changed for me in mid to late 2021 because of all the things that are happening in the world around us. And I don't mean to be naysaying and doom. This is like the worst possible perspective on things, but the US dollar is not as strong as it once was. We are perhaps entering not just inflation, but hyperinflation, right? And that's there's just a lot happening right now that makes money and markets uncertain. The nice thing about Ethereum is that we are headed in an inflationary direction. We'll talk a little bit about that first in a second, but first let me go over kind of the long-term evolution of crypto and what makes Ethereum specifically different and important. So Ethereum today, the Ethereum you can buy and sell, is based off of a proof of work concept. This is where we're going to explain what mining actually is and how it makes money at all. Bitcoin, when things first started out, was really just a ledger of who owns what Bitcoin. There is a blockchain. It is out on the interwebs. But all it really is useful for is tracking how much Bitcoin is out there and who owns how much of it, right? There's nothing more to Bitcoin than that. Bitcoin is worth, I think, $35,000 to $40,000 right now. I won't even bother pulling it up. But I call that out because for what it does, it seems odd to me that Bitcoin is worth 10x or greater what Ethereum is, because it does so much less. Ethereum changed the game by introducing smart contracts, which is the idea that Ethereum by itself is not just a token that you can hold and give to someone else, but I can actually track more than Ethereum ownership on the Ethereum blockchain. I can track things like who voted. I can track things like who owns a lease for a piece of property or a piece of real estate. One of the particularly interesting Ethereum smart contracts is a lotto. So I buy a coin that participates in this lottery, And once a day, every coin on the blockchain is given to one random person who has a wallet. These are the kinds of things you can do on the blockchain. It's all powered by Ethereum, and this matters because there are a lot of cryptocurrencies that are actually just smart contracts built on Ethereum, which means that you have to buy Ethereum and pay for it in what's called gas to power each transaction to interface with anything on the Ethereum blockchain. But that can be anything from ownership of Ethereum by itself to NFTs. NFTs are just a smart contract, but they're also probably the dumbest smart contract. Fun fact about NFTs, and this isn't a crypto or a blockchain thing, it's actually an art thing. They're a great way to launder money, right? Like probably one of the best ways because the value is so hard to define. Like, could you imagine that someone actually paid $1 million for what is essentially that JPEG? Also, I right-click stole that JPEG, right? Like, what a weird world we live in. The key, though, if there's one takeaway from this, it's that there is a lot of stuff that is being run on the Ethereum blockchain today. Visa and MasterCard are both doing large back-end settlements amongst their large vendors, at least, on top of the Ethereum network. And why I care about that is it means that they've got to buy Ethereum forever to keep powering agreements and APIs that are up. What miners are doing is actually getting paid in that gas for processing the transactions or pieces of the transactions, and that's why mining for Bitcoin, we'll talk a bit more about this on the next slide, but mining for Bitcoin is really doing one thing and just basically finding more Bitcoin, right? Very aggressively doing hash operations over and over again to just guess and try to find the next chunk of mineable currency. Ethereum is actually fulfilling I threw up a POW on a DAG in parentheses there and didn't explain it. That's proof of work on a directed acyclic graph. An Ethereum miner, which today Ethereum 1.0 has to be run on a GPU with at least 6 or 8 gigs of onboard memory. I can't remember which. And the reason that is the Ethereum blockchain can be expressed in a 6 gigabyte directed acyclic graph that resets every so often on what's called an epoch. But the point is, the reason Ethereum miners are very different than Bitcoin miners is they are fulfilling these almost assembly level instructions for other contracts to operate on Ethereum. Does that make sense? And is everyone with me? Anyone have any questions? The real Ethereum 2.0, I've mentioned a couple of times. It's supposedly launching in June if things go to schedule. The key difference from this is it goes from being a proof of work network to a proof of stake network. So today it is not a lot in the math changes. The difference is miners today are paid for doing these very computationally complex operations to ensure cryptography on the directed acyclic graph. You have to have invested in an expensive computer to do this in a nutshell. With proof of stake, I don't have to invest in hardware. I can almost run a mining, well, mining is not enough. I can almost run an Ethereum node on a Raspberry Pi, but I have to make a large investment in actual cash. And I risk that cash if I have any downtime or if the blockchain accuses my node of being a bad actor, especially. So let's talk about that. These are actual miners that I have run. I back in the day bought an Antminer T9. That's a Bitcoin miner. I haven't turned it on in more than 2 years. If I ran it today, I would lose $500 a year because of electricity. I don't actually pay 10 cents a kilowatt hour. I pay between 6.5 and 13.5, depending on the month and the time of the day. Most expensive is summer when everyone's running their air conditioners for me. So again, these are all 10 cents a kilowatt hours. Right, the next picture, the one in the middle is one of my mining rigs. It's my least attractive one. Just got two NVIDIA 1080 shoved into the side of a Dell desktop. And as you can see, I've got an extra power supply on the side that's actually powering it. At today's market rate, accounting for electricity, that earns about $324 annually.
I think it looks beautiful.
I love that computer, I do. There's a reason it's near the window though. I haven't actually run a staking node in for real because for lots of reasons, but I have run one on the testnet to play around, and I actually did run it on a NUC. So this is the difference between the middle and the right picture are Ethereum 1.0 and Ethereum 2.0, and the difference there is if on the main net I want to run that NUC full time. I have to make a $32 Ethereum investment, which at the time that 32 was not picked because it was a factor of 2 or anything, or a prime of 2 rather, but because at the time it was about a $10,000 investment. The idea being that if you're going to be, we're lowering the stakes computationally for participation in the network, and we're going to replace them with a financial stake. You will earn, $4,200 a year right now. It's about 4.8 interest, and that's today down from 12 when this first started in November of last year. So those early miners have done very, very well. Is the long way of getting at it, but you don't want to do this yourself at home because there's no way you have enough redundant power and internet to keep this up 24/7, and every hour of downtime will cost you money. And also, who has $88,000 to invest in a single mining node for that kind of return? So
before you move on, I think I asked more about that. So that's Ethereum 2.
Yes.
And it's the proof of stake.
Yes.
Who do you pay that stake to? Like, where do you?
You have to buy 32 Ethereum, and then you put it onto a contract that associates your node. You get keys that will be tied to your node that goes through an approval process. And it can all be done actually through, I think, Ethereum.org. The website has the portal for this. But in a nutshell, you buy Ethereum 1.0, and that's what allows you to break into the 2.0 network.
When you're done mining someday, can you then sell, or can you sell that 30 Ethereum and then get your money back, your investment back?
Short answer, yes. You will have had to have run a node for, I think, so the approval process varies. It's like a 4 to 8 week backlog right now. And you have to run a node after that for at least a month, I think, to be eligible for any payouts. But, and again, nobody's paying anything out yet because the network hasn't fully launched. But yes, you can shut off your miner and walk away with your profits.
So you're cutting edge here.
I'm not maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Today, we'll get into exactly how much money I've earned and lost in a second, and I have not always done well. At today's, it's funny. I was prepared to talk about how much money I'd lost, but because Ethereum is up to 2,800 today, I'm actually at about my break-even point. So today's a good day.
Is there any relationship between Ethereum 1 and 2?
Yes.
So like if you buy in Ethereum 1, what does that get you in Ethereum 2?
Or
are they just like the same company running 2 different currencies?
Today it's all one and the same, kind of. I don't want to go too far beyond my 15-minute allocation, but you think of them as one and the same.
All right, cool.
And this is why I don't stake at home. I actually have redundant internet. My home my home cable modem will fall over to a 4G connection on top, with redundant power. And even when I was at home during COVID, 100% of the time, I didn't feel comfortable doing this because if I had a moment, a couple of hours of downtime, especially a day's worth of downtime, would mean I would have lost significant sums of money, right? If you're going to do this, if you have that $88,000 and are really passionate about this, it would be crazy not to run this in the cloud somewhere because that's the only way you can really guarantee the kind of 100% uptime that this demands. I'll blow through this real fast. the most common problem with crypto is that you're going to lose your password or forget it and lose all your money, which is a terrifying proposition. If you don't have ironclad control of your keys, it's not really your money. You know, if it's on an exchange, how do you really know it's yours? Don't lose your password because that's losing money. Your phone will be used to steal it. There's a Telegram campaign going around right now where bots will attempt to engage you and then install malware that takes over your OTP hijacks Google Authenticator, you know, gets it what it needs to be able to export those codes and take over your account. And make sure that someone can recover your keys because you don't want to be hit by a bus and take the money away from your spouse and family. But only do it with somebody who you actually trust. Shamir is a technology you can use to split up keys or a password across multiple. The idea is I have 2 keys that give me the key that goes to the coins, and those are really handy when you have like an investment group, right? Anyway, so I don't actually do any of that. All of my money is in Coinbase. It's because that way I can stake, and you know, I don't have to invest a full 32 Ethereum. They take a cut of the interest, and it's good. But the most important thing is, if I die, my wife knows how to get it. Because especially if I was staking myself in the cloud, you've got to have a great expertise of command line, GPG, and several other kind of esoteric things for you know, your average non-CS person. So use a YubiKey, use the 24-hour waiting period so somebody can't, even if somebody hijacks in, they can't instantly move all of your money. And know the warning signs. Most of the attacks that are going to take your money are coming through your phone. And one of the most common and scary things is it's really easy to clone somebody else's SIM. As in, like, I can make my phone send and receive phone calls or texts and make it look like it's your phone number. That is almost always a way to reset somebody's account and take all their money. One good call out here as well, Coinbase Pro gives you cheaper buy and sell rates than regular Coinbase, and it's all the same account. So you can save quite a bit of money. I'm well over time. I don't want to take it up. Is anybody still interested? Got more stuff, obviously. This is interesting. No?
We got, I mean, you need about 30 minutes, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, we got time.
Okay. So this is where the tech and some of the people, I think, are super interesting. If anybody hasn't heard the name Vitalik Buterin, he is the originator of Ethereum. This guy's like 24 years old, I think. He's not quite that young. He's maybe 28 now. But he's a really interesting character. Russian, still a good guy. And this is my favorite meme for him. The money god thing comes from his popularity in China. In addition to being the originator of the idea of smart contracts, and I think maybe you can. I don't know that it's fair. I don't know that it's fair to say he's the originator of the idea, but he's certainly the one who made the first production-ready implementation real. He is kind of a genius. Speaks 4 languages, including in Mandarin, and is wildly popular in China. Money God is the Mandarin nickname for Vitalik. So let me actually show you guys some stuff. Oh, first off, so Ethereum is I'm not going to talk about my total holdings or get too gross with money, but I have bought Ethereum at near the all-time high of 4,500. I have also bought some Ethereum at for me, a relatively low 1,450. My overall cost basis is 3,027. I'm up right now, or breaking even right now, because of my mining profits. And let me show you my mining profits. So I make about $16 a day mining with my 7 workers, and I have fully hijacked every computer in my house. I yell at my kids all the time that their desktops aren't mining Ethereum. So this is the combined effort of, again, 7 workers across, or sorry, seven hosts with 11 video cards in them. And as of today, I can barely pay for all of that hardware. Any questions about Ethereum or smart contracts or anything else?
I'll just say, when I first heard about Ethereum, I saw a presentation a guy gave about corporate governance being run on Ethereum smart contracts, which I thought was very interesting. Because that way it actually democratizes the whole, whatever's happening inside the corporation.
How visible is the Ethereum smart contract chain?
I mean, it's all public, right? I can see you can't necessarily see where the contract was run, relative to the miner, which miner profited from executing the code. But one of the nice things about the blockchain is that the value is the transparency.
Cool. We got 1 minute left. Any more questions? Thanks, Sean.
Thank y'all.